Welcome to episode 555 of AI Brief. I'm Amin, and I'm joined by my co-host, Leah.
Hi, everyone. Really glad you could join us.
Today's deep dive is, well, it is packed. We're exploring the return of Anthropic's Fable 5 after this government-mandated hiatus. Plus, we're going to look at Meta's completely surprising pivot to renting out its spare cloud compute.
And we also have some incredible new data on how rapidly AI is climbing the freelance value chain.
We really do.
Because the underlying theme today, the thing connecting all of these updates, is tension. We're seeing this massive real-time friction between deploying huge AI infrastructure and navigating the actual regulatory and economic realities of, making it accessible to the public.
Let's start right there with that tension, bridging straight into the Anthropic news. Because after 18 days offline due to U.S. Commerce Department export controls, Fable 5 is officially back.
Which is such a relief for so many developers.
Definitely. But the craziest part is that the shutdown was actually triggered internally. Amazon researchers basically bypassed the system's guardrails to find security flaws.
Well, they were red teaming it, essentially, pushing the boundaries to see where it breaks.
Spot on. And Anthropic pointed out that these flaws are present in competitor models, too. But now Fable 5 is back, and it's operating under some very strict new terms.
Much stricter.
And they have these new safety filters in place that block potential cyber issues over 99% of the time.
And the clever part is the fallback system. When a prompt hits that filter, it doesn't just error out. It falls back to their older model, Opus 4.8.
Which keeps things running for the user. But there are physical limits now. If you're on a paid plan, your access is capped at 50% of normal limits until July 7th.
That is a significant throttle.
It is. But here's the biggest change. The U.S. government now gets guaranteed pre-release access to Anthropic's future models.
Which completely alters the competitive landscape. I mean, think about it. The industry is expecting OpenAI to release GPT 5.6 this very week.
Oh, absolutely.
So if Anthropic is suddenly tied up with, government red tape and pre-release checks, that could drastically impact their deployment cadence compared to their rivals.
Which makes you wonder how these companies can even manage that level of risk. Building these frontier models costs billions.
It really does.
Which brings us to our second big update. Meta is actively preparing a cloud service business to basically rent out the spare capacity in their data centers.
This is a huge shift for them.
Massive. They're offering developers raw compute power or access to models like their new Spark. And when you look at the financials, Meta made this mind-boggling $182.9 billion bet on infrastructure.
So this gives investors a clear second path to returns. It's not just about whether Meta builds the smartest AI anymore.
And the market absolutely loved it. The news drove Meta's stock up 9.3%. We've actually seen this template before with the SpaceX and XAI Colossus setup.
Where they leased compute to Anthropic, Google, and Reflection AI.
Exactly. Well, I mean, I look at Meta's strategy kind of like an Airbnb for data centers. They built these massive digital mansions. And while they wait for their own AI projects to fully occupy every room, they're monetizing the empty space.
That is a perfect analogy.
But does this imply that raw compute infrastructure is becoming a safer financial bet than actually building the winning model?
I'd say so. While the shortage of compute is this acute, having infrastructure to rent out acts as a huge financial safety net. Pure model builders just don't have that fallback.
That makes total sense. So moving on to how these models are performing in the real world, AI is rapidly climbing the freelance value chain.
This data is fascinating. It comes from the Center for AI Safety and Scale Labs from their new Remote Labor Index.
And they tested these models on 240 real freelance jobs. We're talking 3D jewelry design, animated ads, complex architectural floor plans.
Real practical work.
And Fable 5 just set a record. It matched or beat human professionals 16.1% of the time.
Wow, and Opus 4.8 hit 8.3%.
Followed by OpenAI's GPT 5.5 at 6.3%.
Yeah.
To give you some context on how fast this is moving, just last year, GPT 5.2 was at a 2.5% success rate.
So that is a massive 6x jump in under a year. But I think it is important to clarify that humans are still very much in the loop here for judgment and quality control.
For sure.
What freelancers are actually seeing are massive output increases. You aren't being replaced. You're just getting this insane leverage to complete client projects so much faster.
So to cover everything else happening in AI today, I am going to hand the reins over to my co-host.
Thanks. Let's take a slightly more measured look at the rest of the day's developments, grouping them by hardware, software, and research. Starting with hardware, a company called Etched just emerged from stealth mode with $5 billion in funding.
$5 billion. That is a huge launch.
It is a massive bet. They are launching state-of-the-art inference clusters this summer, so we're talking specialized chips, racks, and software designed specifically to meet the straining power and memory demands of running these models.
The power grids definitely need that efficiency right now.
Very true. Now, moving to software and agents. Google's Gemini Spark is now on Mac, currently in beta for AI Ultra members. The amazing thing here is that it can manipulate your local files to sort downloads or create documents directly.
Oh, having it actually organize my messy desktop sounds incredible.
And they noted that phone-to-Mac execution is coming very soon. Also in software, Catalyze raised $10.5 million to bring AI agents specifically into pharma manufacturing.
Pharma manufacturing is incredibly complex with so many variables.
It is. And these agents are cutting batch investigation times down from months to just minutes inside top global pharma organizations.
Months to minutes. That is revolutionary for that industry.
Definitely. Lastly, for software, Google's Notebook LM just rolled out short video overviews. This lets you generate 60-second educational videos from any source material.
Social media is about to be flooded with AI-generated explainers.
I think so, too. Now, on the research and benchmark front, we have some contrasting data. OpenAI released GenaBench Pro for computational biology, and their GPT 5.6 Sol model only solved 28.7% of the problems.
That seems pretty low for a frontier model.
It does. Meanwhile, highly acclaimed theoretical computer scientist Jelani Nelson just officially joined Anthropic.
Oh, wow.
And on top of that, Bingwei Peng's research team used a combination of GPT 5.5 Pro and Opus 4.8 to solve 9 long-standing open problems in math and theoretical computer science.
Wait, 9 historical math problems?
Yes, which brings up a really important question. If AI can solve 9 historic math problems, but fails over 70% of the time on biology benchmarks like GeneBench Pro, are we seeing these frontier models become hyper-specialized rather than universally intelligent?
I think that is exactly what we're seeing. Mathematics operates in this very strict logical universe, but biology is incredibly messy and chaotic. So it makes total sense that they excel at structural logic, but struggle with the sheer noise of biological reality.
We are definitely building brilliant specialists.
Which means we need to know how to use them. So let's pivot to today's trending AI tools and look at some direct, practical use cases for each one. First up is Claude Fable 5, which is Anthropic's reinstated Mythos-class model.
We were just talking about how powerful that one is.
It is. You want to use Fable 5 for deep, complex reasoning tasks that require elite logical deduction, like analyzing dense legal contracts. Next on the list is Z-Code, which is an agentic environment for GLM 5.2.
That sounds geared toward developers.
It is. You use Z-Code to automate your software debugging and basically streamline your daily coding workflows. Then we have Grok Voice Agent Builder from xAI.
That's their no-code platform, correct?
Spot on. You use it to spin up a custom voice-based customer service rep without writing a single line of code. Next is Google's Nano Banana 2 Lite.
Aside from the fun name, what does that one do?
It's an incredibly fast image model. You use it for rapidly generating cost-effective images for your daily social media posts. And if you need video, there's Heijin. You use that to create AI video clones of yourself to send personalized sales outreach at scale.
That one is so powerful for marketing.
It really is.
Oh.
Next up is Diagramo. You use this to turn dense blocks of text or disorganized meeting notes into clean, digestible infographics.
I could definitely use that for my meeting notes.
Same here. We also have Agata today. You use Agata to perfectly translate and correct your international emails before you hit send. Then there's GPT Scribe.
That's the transcription tool, I believe.
It is. Use GPT Scribe to instantly convert lengthy podcast audio or user interview videos into highly accurate text transcripts. And finally, we have Easier. You use Easier as a unified workspace to generate and edit audio, video, and images all inside one single browser tab.
You know, thinking about all these tools, imagine the practical combinations you could build.
Oh, the stacking potential is huge.
It really is. Imagine you record a meeting and you use GPT Scribe to transcribe the audio in seconds. Then you feed that text directly into Diagramo to instantly hand your team a visual flowchart of what was discussed.
That would save hours of administrative work. And it perfectly summarizes the sheer speed of development we covered today. I mean, we went from macro infrastructure and government regulations all the way down to desktop tools that automate your workflow.
The landscape is just shifting every single day.
It really is. If you want to stay ahead of this exact curve, be sure to follow along on your favorite platform and share this deep dive with someone who needs to understand where this technology is heading next.
Thanks so much for listening, everyone.
See you next episode.